Hello, scholars. Yesterday we learned about matter in general. Today we're going to talk about its physical properties. All right? So what do we mean when we say physical properties? This is any characteristic of a material that we can see, taste, smell, measure. Okay? But that act of observing it can't change the composition of the substance itself. We can do other things, learn lots about something by changing it chemically, changing its composition. But the physical properties are what we can do through observation and measurement. All right, so let's take a look at what these are. First is viscosity. The only place I hear about viscosity outside of science class is in motor oil commercials. It reduces viscosity and thermal breakdown. That's the type of oil you should buy. Why? Do the reading. It's one of your homework questions. But this idea of viscosity means a resistance to flowing. Viscous liquids don't flow very easily. Okay? Less viscous substances are going to flow very easily, like water. Okay? Conductivity is another way to measure or describe physical properties. So you heat something up and you see how easy it is to transfer that heat down the substance. Metals conduct heat and electricity very well. Okay, other substances, not so much. Different types of metals have different levels of conductivity. Malleability, okay, the ability to be hammered or shaped. That seems like kind of an old term, and it is. Why? Because it comes from the old world when you had precious metals like gold and silver and bronze. These were hammered and shaped into different pieces of art or different coins. And so if you're working with metal, you want to know how malleable it is, how easy to shape. Okay? We also have hardness. All right? Certain substances are going to be harder than others. How do you test something's hardness? We call it a scratch test. All right? Here they're using a piece of quartz to scratch a piece of glass. That means the quartz is harder than the piece of glass. All right? So you can measure a substance's hardness. Now we get into a little bit more objective characteristics, things that we can measure and put really good numbers on. Melting point, all right? Just like ice has a melting point at 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, each pure substance is going to have its own melting point, the temperature at which it melts from solid to liquid or freezes from liquid to solid. Also, characteristic of a substance is its boiling point, the temperature at which it boils. Okay? Last but not least is density. Okay? Density is a ratio of mass to volume. It tells us how much stuff, how much matter, how much mass is in a given volume or space. Okay? And things that are more dense sink. Things that are less dense float. We've got water down here. We've got oil on top. Oil floats on top of water. Why? Because it's less dense than water. In the same amount of volume, there are less molecules up here than there are down here. A Lego, notice Legos. I love Legos. Oops. Not right now. The Lego is in between the density of oil and water. A penny is more dense than water, and this little plastic spider up here is less dense than the oil. How do we calculate this? We have an equation. Okay, rho equals mass divided by volume. Okay, that looks like a lowercase p. It's the Greek symbol rho, and it stands for density. So density equals mass over volume. On the flip side of your homework sheet, you need to do 2 calculations of density. All right, so you'll get some practice. Don't forget your units. Show all your work. We'll see you in class.